In this video, we're going to see how we can use a trigger volume to have a sound play, hide the item, and then show that particle system whenever it is that we touch our collectible. So as of right now, we have this coin in our world, but it doesn't actually do anything. Let's change that. So let's go back inside of Kismet, and now we're going to create a new subsequence to hold our coin's behavior. So to do that, I need to go somewhere along this area, or anywhere we want, right-click, and then select Create New Sequence. Once this pops up, it's going to ask us for a name for this subsequence, and we're going to call it Coin Pickup. Now, if you'll notice that this sequence is like a folder. It allows us to hold different kinds of behavior. It allows us to separate different pieces of functionality. Now, one of the other cool things about this is that we can separate the functionality of prefabs, but we're going to learn more about that in a later section. Now that we have this new sequence created, I want to go back into the editor, and then I want to left-click on the trigger volume, because we're going to create an event using it. So, with it selected, we're going to go back into Kismet, and then I'm going to right-click, and you'll notice that now we have this new menu, new event using trigger volume 0. So the trigger volume will let me know whenever I collide, whenever I touch that trigger. So I'm going to select this touch event right here. Now, when trigger events are first created, they come with some properties that contain default values, and one of them that I want to talk about is the max trigger count. You'll notice that right now, this is set to 1. This is how many times that the event can be activated. This is fine because we only want to collect this once and then it's going to disappear. But if we ever want to have an event happen an infinite number of times, we can just put 0 there. Now that we have this touch event created, we need to have access to our coin's mesh. We need to, so that we can disable it. So with this mesh selected, we then go back into Kismet. From there, we need to create a toggle hidden event by right-clicking to the right of this touch event and then selecting New Action, Toggle Hidden. Now, we want to connect the touched from the trigger touched event to the hide of the toggle hidden action. So we want to hide something when we touch this trigger. And what do we want to make invisible? The object. So under the target section, we want to create a new variable that will hold our interp actor that we've created. So I'm going to right click here and then select New Object Var using interp actor 0. And again, the reason it says interp actor 0 is because it is selected. And then I can just go from the target and connect them. Now, if I didn't want to do this in 2 steps, I'm going to delete that by hitting the delete key. I can just, with this highlighted, right click and then say New Object Var using interp actor 0, and you'll notice that it's already connected to us. So just to verify that we've created a variable for the correct object, let's just double click on this value. You'll notice that the screen moves to that object. And the same thing will happen with the trigger volume. The next thing that we're going to want to do is we want to add a play sound action. To do this, we're going to need to right click once again and select New Action, Sound, and then Play Sound. After that, we're going to connect the out from the toggle hidden event to the play of the play sound event. Now, we don't know what sound to actually play, and that's because at this point, play sound, the sound that we want to play, is set to nothing. So in order to find a sound to play, we're going to once again go back to the content browser. So from there, we want to find a sound to play. So to do that, I'm going to check sound cues, uncheck particle systems, and clear this out. Now, you can double click on any of these sound cues, and you should be able to hear exactly what the sound sounds like. So I'm going to pick a sound. That sounds fine. So with this selected in the content browser, I can go back into Kismet and then click on this green arrow here, which will use that object inside of the browser. So now, the event, once we touch the object, it will turn this off, and then it will play a sound. But it doesn't know where to play the sound. We're going to have to use the player variable in order to have the sound play where the player is. So to do that, underneath target, I'm going to right click and select new variable, player. There we go. And then connect the target to there. Now it doesn't matter because this is a single player game, but if I wanted to specify a particular player, I could uncheck all players and then give a certain ID. Now, lastly, we want to actually turn on our particle system. So in order to do that, we're going to create a toggle action by right-clicking and then selecting New Action, Toggle, Toggle. And then finally connect the out to the turn on of the toggle event. And just like last time, we're going to go back into the level, select our emitter, and then create an object using it by right-clicking and creating a new object variable for it. Now if I want to clean this up a bit, I can do a marquee selection around different areas, and then I can hold down Control and drag this around to make it look a little nicer. And I'm going to do that real quick. Now at this point, if we play the game, we should be able to see everything work perfectly. So I'm going to do that real quick by closing out, going to play, and then going into the editor. So now, when I step up near this, you'll see that we have that effect happen, and now it's completely invisible. However, there's still a couple of things that we'd like to do, such as knowing how many coins that we've collected. And that'll be what we do in the next video.